afternoon. I'm Celeste St. Jacques, and I'm the town moderator here in Southwick, and I'm here with Les Tingley, who, interestingly, was here for the Southwick 200th parade. Why don't we start by talking about that?
Yeah, in fact, I was a member of what was called the High-Lows Drum Corps at the time, and as a youngster, I actually marched in the 200th, the Bicentennial Parade, which, of course, was a big deal at that time. I was actually quite surprised when I first heard of the 250th celebration. I thought it couldn't possibly be the 250th.
No,
we just did the 200th, right?
Especially since you're only 20 years old.
Oh, I love you.
So, what are some interesting things you've seen change in Southwick over the past 20 years, 50 years? 50
oh
years.
My goodness, yeah. The town has grown so much. I currently I've spent the last 25 or so years in Agawam Feeding Hills, but the town itself, I was actually the first hire by Earl Murphy at Murphy's Donuts as a teenager.
Wow.
Earl will tell you I was a bad employee, but still love Murphy's Donuts.
That's interesting. One of my first jobs was actually at a donut shop.
Really?
In Rhode Island. Yep.
Awesome.
So I grew up in Rhode Island, and I ended up meeting my husband in Connecticut, and we moved to Southwick. We just picked a house. The town looked nice. We drove through quite a few towns and said, okay, we're going to pick Southwick. So I've been here for 18 years.
Oh, no, it's a great town. It's a great community. Like I said, we've seen it grown from when I was a kid. The town hall behind us was a consolidated school where I attended school. The community drugstore used to be up where Russell's Pets is now.
Okay.
A very traditional soda fountain counter with the round stools.
Oh, I miss those. Those are classic.
Yeah, those were great. Like I said, the Murphy's Donuts was actually half of that building that it's in now.
Okay.
It's occupied the full building. Everything on the other end of town here, the McDonald's and the shopping areas, that's all didn't exist when I was a kid, and so yeah, it's grown quite a bit, but still got that small town charm.
It does, So my kids grew up here from the time they were young. They went to Woodland Elementary School. We spent many Saturday mornings at the soccer fields, basketball courts. I think I coached basketball one year.
Okay.
That was very instructional and had very lack of basketball skills on my part, but it was fun. It's really about getting the kids out and playing, and I think that my kids have developed into quite good citizens. I have a senior now at Southwick High who actually loves the community, loves being a part of the community. She's been involved. She's actually the student rep on the school committee, and she loves being involved. I think she'll be a long-term Southwicker.
Well, they've done a lot with the rec center. That's grown. The rec center building didn't exist when I was a kid. The other thing that I just visited today for the very first time is Wally Park, which is wonderful. I wish that had existed when I was a young person in town here, but great park. The Wallies have done good things in town, and nice organization.
It is. I was driving there the other day, and it was nice to just see young families out walking and playing in the playground. It is definitely beautiful, and they have done a lot for this town. One of the nicest things, actually, when people come to our town to play sports, they're actually very impressed with our soccer fields. We have some of the nicest rec center soccer fields in Western Mass.
Yeah, and that doesn't surprise me. Tying back to the Wallies were soccer players.
Yes, very good soccer players. And soccer's a big night, and if you get a chance to come out tomorrow night, the girls and boys senior nights are tomorrow night. Unfortunately, we have to play them at Roots in Westfield, which are beautiful fields as well, because there was a little bit of damage to the Wally Park soccer field, and they're not playable right now. But the girls and boys are really looking forward to having a great senior night after last year not necessarily going as they had planned, but we'll be celebrating them tomorrow night for playing. The group that my daughter is playing with, the seniors, have been playing together pretty much since second grade. Same group of girls, great friends. It'll be great to see them play in their last home game tomorrow, and then their last games ending this week. And
seniors in all the surrounding towns, actually, and probably all across the country, have really been cheated out of their senior year the last couple of years. So it's good to see things coming back, and sports in particular.
The kids have been incredibly resilient. And in some ways, I feel like the kids have handled this whole COVID situation so much better than I have. And the school has done a wonderful job keeping the kids in school this year, keeping them educated, making up for missed work. Our school system has done a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I actually think I see the start of the parade.
I do. I see some police officers and
a lot of flashing lights.
A lot of flashing lights. They're headed our way. I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to. And I'm really fortunate that when Jim Putnam, who will be joining me in a few minutes, started talking to me about filling his position and running for office, that one of the greatest things is I've met so many phenomenal people that I probably wouldn't have met if I wasn't in this situation.
Sure.
There's so many great people in our town, and there's so many great people that we can learn from that have been living in the town for, 50 years, that know the history. And I know people who I can call when I want to hear the history and hear how a town meeting went 50 years ago.
Do you know about the Farmington Canal project?
The Farmington Canal project?
Yeah, so I won't spoil it, but that's something that you should look into and check out. That's quite an interesting story. Had it actually worked.
There's also a float coming up in the parade that's actually a replica of the boats that used to transport, the canal boats that used to transport boats from North Haven to New Haven.
Ah.
And that's actually a project. It was actually in the Westfield News this morning about how they're going to, the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission is going to kind of try to restore some of the canal to, for historical purposes.
Oh, that's great.
So you'll see one of our floats coming up that will be a replica of the canals that used to go from Northampton to New Haven.
Interesting.
It'll be interesting. I've learned so many interesting things in the past year and a half. So I'm really excited to see lots of new faces, older faces that I've just met, and some young members of the community. There's going to be some Girl Scouts, the high school band, which I always look forward to hearing. I had a saxophone player, so I always love hearing the band.
And as you know, I was a trumpet player.
You were a trumpet player, okay.
Till I got old enough to, trumpet wasn't cool at one point in time, so I took up guitar and became a guitar player. And it's always good, and the bands are always fun.
Yeah, it's such a great way to get involved. And our school has always had a very good music program at a very young age, so I'm excited to see who comes down the street. Who's going to be first? So let me take a quick look and see who's coming. We're going to have some antique trailers. We're going to have some Girl Scouts. One of my first volunteer jobs in Southwick was being a Girl Scout leader. That was quite an experience.
Wow, okay.
There's going to be some dancers, some tractors. Suffield's going to be here with their float supporting us. And actually, when I drove through Suffield this morning, I think I saw them getting ready. Some classic cars. But I don't want to give it all away, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how this goes.
All right.
And I know that the first opening banner should be coming our way any minute.
Well, Jim isn't here yet, but...
Now, so are your kids still local?
Yes, I've got a son in Granby, Connecticut. Got two daughters in Westfield.
Good.
And we have one daughter at home. She has Down syndrome, and she's still the baby, and will always be the baby. But
your baby's always your baby.
Oh yeah,
that's true. I know that from having 3 kids.
Do you want me to jump out of camera, Ken? I'll help out.
I'm not getting that mic in here.
Okay.
So we have our first police cruiser getting ready to approach the town hall. It'll be interesting to see who's driving the police cruiser, see if it's somebody I recognize. I know some of the police officers, but definitely not all of them. But I actually see Sergeant Westcott, and I'm hoping I'm saying that right, he's a sergeant, walking with his dog. His daughter is actually the goalie of the girls' soccer team. She's been doing a phenomenal job as a freshman. He also has a son that's a junior in high school. He's been a great part of the community. I just don't know the dog's name.
Oh.
And I should have asked him that question when I saw him at the last soccer game.
Well, we'll ask him when he gets up close.
We'll have to ask him what's his dog's name is. And let's see who the police officer is driving the...
Beautiful dog.
We actually have Chief Landis driving. Chief Landis is our newest police chief. He's replaced Chief Bishop, and
Yeah,
Chief
Kevin
Landis is doing
Bishop.
a wonderful job taking over.
I grew up with Kevin.
And then we have our traffic incident management unit driven by some really cute kids.
Great car.
I love seeing this car. I've seen it a couple times from the Granville Police Department. It's great that they've come out and supported us. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Dukes of Hazzard. And here we go. We have Jim Putnam, the moderator for 27 years, who's coming to join us on the stage.
Okay.
It's great to see him.
So I'm gonna give up the headphones here, and I'm gonna help these guys out with the cameras.
Here we go. Here's our former police chief, Kevin Bishop, driving the float. There's Doug Moglin. We have a witch. We have Doug's wife, Carl Steinhardt, Russ Fox, and I think Nick Baldig is there hiding on the other side, maybe with some of his kids. Our Southwick banner is being carried by two Southwick field hockey players, Marissa Coviello and Grace Brockbank. Interesting, Marissa's grandfather, James Vincent, was a longtime member of the school committee, and her mom is the guidance counselor at the high school. So it's great to see them, and the band's out.
I told you I'd be just in time.
Just in time. You're doing great, yeah.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Here's our antique fire trucks. And here's Russ Anderson's crew driving through town. Try to figure out.
It'll be the Cal. I'll announce the next one.
This is Engine 2 of the Southwick Fire Department. I believe our next group coming through is the Ancient Fife and Drum Chorus, or it could be...
I think it's going to be the Holyoke Caledonian Pipe Band, but
yes,
we'll see the banner here shortly.
Yes, I believe that's what it's going to be. Is the pipe? I actually always love these, and I love their uniforms, their plaid skirts.
It stirs something in all of us, doesn't it?
It does. It definitely does.
I think we have two pipe bands today, and a lot of great bands to come.
We're so fortunate that most of these people took the time out of their Saturday afternoon to volunteer.
Absolutely.
Such a great occasion. It's such a great celebration.
So one of us is going to be right as soon as we see the bass drum, Celeste. And the Holyoke Caledonian Band is sponsored by the Southwick Firemen's Association.
That's right, I did read that.
And we greatly appreciate that. Love to have the traditional bagpipe band in the parade here, and appreciate all that the Fire Association does for us.
And here we have members of the Southwick Volunteer Fire Department, led by the flag bearers, and then we have the Fire Chief Russ Anderson.
We're very proud of our volunteer fire department. They provide great service to our town.
And we have Cooper Smith in the back, who's one of the youngest, probably, members volunteering.
Rookie, huh?
We need people like that.
Absolutely.
People getting involved.
And we're going to have a Shriners unit now, and we've got a lot of Shriners on tap here this afternoon. When we were planning the parade, we said, basically took the approach, the more Shriners, the better for a parade.
Yes, and we're so fortunate to have that in our area. The Shriners does so much to help children.
Oh, I see Sparky the fire dog coming up here.
I didn't know I didn't know the name, but I do know that's Stephen Shaw driving the Sparky the fire dog. He's also one of the newest volunteers of the Southwick Fire Department.
Hi, Sparky. Thank you.
And more clowns on a little bike. Man, look at his feet.
Those are probably, what, size 18s?
Yeah, I would say 18 or 20.
And another pipe band coming up. Shriners Pipe Band.
This is the Shriners Pipe Band. Either way, they sound wonderful.
Absolutely. So you think they're rocking those kilts, huh, Celeste?
Definitely.
Okay.
And I like the socks and the shoes, too.
Yeah, it's a nice outfit.
Is this a convertible Cadillac?
Well, you know, that's even early in my time, and I've got quite a few years on you, but I would say so, either that or a Continental.
Followed by a Firebird. I have to say, I kind of like this one. And next, followed by my husband's favorite. My husband's a big Mustang.
He is a Mustang fan.
He's a Mustang guy.
So how many's he got in the garage?
Only one.
Only
we only
one.
have one.
Okay.
We have one Mustang.
And looks like we got vintage automobiles here. We'll have a lot of those today. And I'm not good with my old cars either, but I believe that's a 1950s era Ford. But I could be wrong about that.
And an old pickup.
Oh, beautifully restored pickup truck.
It is beautiful.
And then certainly a Chevy, vintage Chevy pickup
I've always
truck.
been partial to the yellow cars, though.
You like that, huh?
I like the yellow.
You want to be seen coming.
I
huh?
want to be seen, yep. Except my kids told me to buy gray because I'm not cool enough.
Oh, okay. You're getting fashion advice from your teenagers. now.
Always.
Do they give their dad fashion advice too?
No.
No. Okay, they leave him alone, huh?
A more modern car. Still probably maybe 80s, I would guess. An 80s
A
Corvette.
Yep. And Oriental band.
The Oriental band. I don't think I've ever heard the Oriental band. And I'm not even sure what the name of that instrument is called.
I don't know either, but I'm waiting to see a snake or something.
I know.
We got motorcycle riders,
There's-
Melha Shrine motorcyclists.
I was looking to see if what type they're riding, if any of them were riding any classic Indians, but
Oh,
They
now
look like Harleys.
we got stunts.
oh, I love these.
I think in my next career, I'm going to become a Shriner and do.
I think so.
do the
I think
bike stunts.
I think the bike would look perfect.
And that was the
you
Melha
definitely-
Riders.
You definitely riders and mini choppers, and the hat would definitely look good.
And another band coming up momentarily.
The float that just went by is actually an exact replica of the hospital in Springfield.
Oh, really? That's great. They do so much wonderful things there.
And we have another the Melha Shrine Drum Corps. And I know these people who are playing just absolutely do it out of the pure love of actually playing, which is
And benefiting the kids at the hospital. Such a great charity.
And now, from Teddy Bear Pools, the mini trucks, I have no idea how they're driving these. This is amazing. They're sitting in the little trucks. We have a teddy bear pool. We have a little mini Peter Pan bus.
They already found me.
Hub International. Peter Pan. And the little cars.
Some more tricksters. Oh, here we go. I think a wheelie's coming up here.
I think so. They'll definitely be doing some tricks for us.
Oh,
It's a good thing. I don't know. I might get a little car sick doing this, so I'm really impressed that these guys are doing this. And they're having a blast.
it looks like fun.
It looks like a lot of fun. Oh, my goodness.
And I remember as a kid watching the Shriners do their stunts, and it was always the most exciting part of the parade.
Yeah, I don't know if we had something like this in Rhode Island where I grew up, but this is awesome. It's making me feel like a 12-year-old. And they're going over, they're driving behind the truck and going over the truck onto the ramp and flying down. What a blast. You know, interestingly, I might have to ask them if they need a woman to join their group. I see all men. I think we need to.
I think I'd be willing to sponsor you.
Okay, sounds good. I'm not. I have to say, I don't know if I'm that good of a driver, but it does look like fun.
I'm sure they have training.
They must have training.
And the Shriners four-wheeler tricksters, stunt drivers.
Yeah, they're having a blast, and here the mini trucks are following them. We're fortunate to have so much entertainment from the Melhouse Shrines.
Absolutely, they really turned out for us, and
They're probably so excited to be outside too after not having much, with COVID and not being outside. They're probably just so excited, and we have to say we really lucked out.
Absolutely.
With the weather. I was watching it all week, but we really escaped. We couldn't have asked for a more beautiful time for the parade. And we hope it holds out for the celebration after at Wally Park.
Nice breeze blowing, nice day to be marching, especially for all these folks with the heavier uniforms and the band instruments.
Right. Absolutely.
And we have an intrepid cameraman out there standing in the middle of them getting B-roll footage. What a guy.
Yes, Ken from Channel 15. He's doing so much.
Yeah.
Great addition to our town.
Maybe they ought to sign him up and they can do stunts around him.
I heard he's a little bit of a workaholic, so he might take him up on that. He truly loves his job. I'm interested to see what the next...
It's a Civil War. It's the 15th Mass Volunteers coming up shortly, and led by Abe Lincoln himself.
I was just going to say, looks just like Abe Lincoln.
Now, don't ask me how Abe Lincoln got back here, but there he is with the big stovepipe hat and looks like an umbrella coming down in front of Town Hall here with the 15th Massachusetts Volunteers.
Yeah, they got some great classic flags shooting their guns.
Mr. Lincoln!
I love seeing this because I love to see the variety of ages in this profession of people who are probably true Civil War buffs.
Reenactors.
Reenactors, that's the word. But there's such a great... We have a woman in the back, and we have some very young members, and we have some older members, so it's great to see the mix. Now we're lucky to have the Westfield High School Band who came out to join and help us celebrate the sound of Bomber Pride.
Well, we started out, the first thing we did was, I believe in 2019, we helped them celebrate their 350th anniversary in Westfield.
Now, going back to what year was it that Southwick kids went to Westfield School?
Prior to 1963.
So there is quite a long history between Southwick and Westfield.
Absolutely.
And it's great to be able to continue to work with them. It's good for the community to keep up community support.
Well, we share so much with them. And
so the next
VFW, the Southwick VFW and American Legion,
and American Legion
are
and
marching together.
Their float is made up of a pontoon boat.
Who'd have figured?
Is this the one that Troy is riding on?
Probably.
And Troy has done so much with supporting the military and the veterans in the community. Not sure if Troy's on. I don't see Troy, but he definitely is been very pivotal in doing things for the veterans in our town and our surrounding communities. We're lucky to have him.
Coming up, the Southwick Historical Society,
yes,
with a replica of a canal boat.
A canal boat
would have been,
in
coming through Southwick in the 1820s and 1830s.
And I am not sure of the woman's name.
Pat Odiorn.
Pat was, when the kids go on their Southwick tour of the Historical Society, she's one of the tour guides. So I do remember getting quite a Southwick history when I went on the ride in 3rd grade. Zuber
Landscaping coming in front of us, one of our great contributors throughout the celebration here, the kind of town business that when you need something and you ask, they say yes.
Going back to the canal boat, there actually was an interesting article about the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission doing some of the restoration along the canal to give some of the history of the Northampton, New Haven canal route. Now we have one of my favorite places, and one of my oldest daughter's favorite places is the Southwick Public Library. I'm very fortunate that they forgive me when I forget my library card because I'm such a regular, but we wouldn't have the same community without the library.
So you're getting a discount on your library fines, huh, Celeste?
I think everyone gets a discount.
I don't get the discount. I'm feeling like, Jake at State Farm is, playing favorites again.
I've lost a couple books and had played my share fair. I've had kids that dropped books in the pool. So
Southwick Emergency Management Agency coming through. And I'll know in a moment who's driving, but I believe that's Charlie Dunlap, our FEMA director.
Yes, he is. And he's done a lot setting up for town meetings in the past 2 years when we've done our meetings outside. He's a great resource for the town.
And another emergency vehicle, I'm sure donated by the Department of Defense, but festooned with the Southwick town flag in 1776
with our Southwick flag.
American flag. Looks like a scene out of MASH out there with the Army Jeep.
And we have members of the Hampden County Sheriff's Department on the motorcycles here to support Southwick today.
Again, I want to say a special thank you to...
And I have to say the one in the front looks very much like Erica Estrada.
I'll say a special thank you to Sheriff Nick Kotschi for helping us out and participating today. We really appreciate their service to the town, and especially helping us patrol the Congamon Lakes in the summertime. Makes a difference, supplements our own.
And here's our next one supporting the Southwick Boat Parade, the King family of Kings Beach, North Ponds. Promoting the boat parade, and hopefully we'll be able to get back and have the boat running.
And some more antique cars with a Kawasaki jet ski. The old and the new.
And I don't know the year of this car.
Whatever I say, it'll be wrong, but it's old, Celeste. It's even older than I am.
I would guess 1930?
I'd say that's a 30s, maybe even a 20s vintage
Ford. But they've done remarkable restoration work, though.
Well, we've got a gap in the parade here. We've got a lot of great sponsors that have made all of this possible. I don't have my list in front of me, but I am going to say some thank yous here. Our platinum sponsor, Westfield Bank, really stepped up to make all of this possible for us several months ago. And they really were a difference maker on what we were able to do here today. So we say a big thank you to them. East Hampton Savings Bank, also a significant contributor, and they don't even have a branch in town, but I'm sure they have a lot of loyal customers, and we really appreciate, and employees who live in town. I think we have a mutual friend who works for East Hampton Bank. And then the Plakius family, who are always very quiet about how they help out, but have been very helpful, and certainly call out to them. And to Western Mass Rendering, now a division of Baker Commodities, also a significant contributor. The Tagliavini family, a name that means a lot to those of us who've been around town a long time, I'll put it that way, but great family, and one of our predecessors as town moderator back in probably the 1960s, Celeste. So
that's a great history.
And also the Arnold family, and when I get my list here shortly, I will give you some more donors.
Let's add all the work that you've done with the 250 committee and all your volunteers. This would have never been possible without you, Jim, helping to organize that.
I appreciate that.
You had quite a large committee as well.
We started with a large committee. I will say attrition kind of took some people along the way. You know, one of the things you find out in a small town like this is everybody's involved with other organizations too. So Pat Odiorn's a good member of our anniversary committee, but she's also very involved with the Historical Society. And another group I want to call out, I'm recalling now, but the Southwick Cultural Council has stepped up a number of times.
It just goes to show that who do you ask to do something when you need something? You sometimes ask the busiest person, because they're the ones that get it done. Now, this is a fife and drum. This is the fife and drum band.
And I think that's your first one.
This is our fife and drum band. Yes, they're doing a great job.
The ancient fife and drum band. They look like War of 1812 era with those cockade hats. And then our wonderful neighbors to the west, Granville, with which we do so much together also. We share schools, we share some town functions, and we certainly have a lot of mutual aid going back and forth with
and it's such a beautiful town.
It is. A lot of great families up there, and
we're going to cross our fingers that we get back to the Granville Fair next year and support them.
Absolutely. Well, you know, people ask why we moved. Our original date was last weekend, and one of the reasons, there were a number of good reasons, but one was that we didn't want to interfere with Suffield's 350th, but the other was that we didn't want to interfere with the Granville Harvest Fair, and unfortunately later they did have to cancel it. But
so here we have the Westover Civil
Air Patrol.
Yep. And it's great to see so many young people involved.
Thank you.
In following their passion.
And another vintage Ford pickup truck, I'd say from the 40s. I wish my brother Steve were here because he'd be knocking these out of the park, but
yes. My husband's son knows some of them. but
Well, maybe next time we need to let Jay and
we'll have
Steve do this, and
the next
we'll.
parade, we're going to have to do a little research into the vehicles. The Southwick Rotary,
You need the stationary.
the Rotary International, who does so many great things for the town and for the town business people.
Another vintage, I believe, Ford platform truck, beautifully restored.
Beautifully
We're
restored.
seeing
The
some beautiful,
the color is
beautiful vehicles here. And we got another gap in
We
the
have
parade.
another
but,
gap in the parade. Probably something really exciting is coming that they had to pause and speak. So when did you start planning the 250th celebration?
I'm going to tell you a cute story, Celeste. At least I think it's cute. So I retired from my career in March of 2018, and I thought I was going to have all this free time, and I'd be every evening I'd be sitting out on our deck with my feet up on the chair, having a glass of wine.
Never happens.
And in May, I read an announcement in the paper. Volunteers wanted to plan 250th celebration, and so I thought to myself, well, that would be a cool thing to do. That can't take too much time, and I'd like to do that and help out and do something else for the town. And so I went to the first meeting, and in June, and then I missed the July meeting. And so a week or so later, I got a phone call from one of our select board, and he said, Jim, I want to tell you about the meeting the other night. And I thought that was kind of over the top that he would call me up. I missed it fair and square. And so he told me what they discussed at the meeting, and I'm thinking, well, I could have read that in the minutes. And then at the very end, he said, oh, by the way, we discussed who we want for chair, and you were elected. And so
like I said, you always ask the busiest person.
But it also, the old adage, if you miss a meeting, you're going to pay for it.
Well, I went to a function I was volunteering at in March of 2020, and I was asked to consider running for moderator. So you go to volunteer at something.
I think we were together that time too.
I think that was you who told me to step up and look into it, and I told you no the first time, and then I did some research, and I said I would really like to get more involved in the community, especially as my kids were getting older and I had a little more free time. Of course, I don't seem to have much free time. I keep waiting for that free time.
I think you've got to wait for that too.
I know. I always find something I love to do. I'm not someone who loves staying home. I love visiting the local golf courses. I love just walking in the neighborhood, going on the bike path. I'm definitely not a stay-at-home person. Driving by your house and looking at your beautiful flowers.
So is Jay a golfer also?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but he likes his cars. And here we
Well, that's probably better that way. That
Absolutely. Here we have a younger fife and drum band, which is kind of amazing. As a mother of a musician, I'm very impressed with the prestige how they're walking and playing their instruments.
I believe they're from the town of Granby, our southern neighbor.
Wow.
Just south on the jog here.
And I've liked a lot of the presenters we've had at the parade, but I think I'm a little bit in awe on how amazing they have marched in the youth and the experience. I'm very impressed with them.
And
it's because of a mom of a musician.
That young woman over there, I'm guessing, is no more than 8-10 years old, right?
That's amazing.
It looks like she's
doing amazing,
doing her share.
Now we have the Southwick,
one of our great cultural resources, and there's Troy right in front of us. Not surprised, helping a veteran get seated. But we're very proud. One of our Southwick attractions is the Wick 338, and we appreciate them allowing us to use their venue for our fireworks tonight. They're a great community.
So we've had lots of old cars, but here from Dean Motors, we have a Moke electric vehicle, which is probably one of the newest type vehicles around.
Oh, and Rick Foy's got his Southwick shaker here with
Oh my God, I gotta love that. And that's probably
and that is a
my
vintage,
favorite color
that
car.
is a vintage 50s Chevy. Again, I'm not gonna
A Bel Air.
a Bel Air.
Beautiful color.
And
Beautifully
again,
restored.
beautifully restored. And Interstate Towing is another one of our gold sponsors. They've really helped us out, not only with funding, but with light towers for our show tonight. I think they've given us, lent us several vehicles today. So
Well, they're always great to have in the community when you
we
need
really
them.
appreciate them. And coming up, the Dance Slipper.
Dan Slipper, who actually has continued to perform throughout, so it's great to see them out here. Great group of dancers, and I believe they actually have a new owner this year who's taken over the business, and
And
I'd
our
like
Boy
to see them
Scouts.
grow. Boy Scouts. It's good to see some familiar faces of Boy Scouts
And the Girl Scouts.
and Girl Scouts. And you can always get involved in Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. It's such a great organization for the youth.
And coming up, a group that I'm very proud of, we're joined by the Windjammers Marching Band from the Coast Guard Academy.
Wow.
They are all active duty Coast Guard members, service people, and they join us today all the way from New London, Connecticut.
And trumpet players are cool.
And they are dressed so magnificently,
They are.
and obviously they've done a parade or two before, but we really
It's great
appreciate
to
them
hear
being
them.
with us.
Now we have a limousine. Decorated for Halloween. I believe this is might be some scary stuff inside there. That's why the windows are so dark, where they probably don't want us to see. Then we have new ears, affordable hearing, which is kind of a pretty cool car. It's a nice Mercedes. Definitely not old, but still beautiful. Thank you. From the city of Westfield is Don Humison.
Mayor Don Humison from the city of Westfield, again, kind of the mothership for our town. And now the Southwick Cultural Council that's done so much for us.
Is that
Dennis Clark is driving,
Yeah.
and his and there's Ann Miles and I think Pat McMahon.
Pat McMahon, yep.
And
left her-
Susan.
She left her husband somewhere over here.
And 53 Nash. And I'm sure a lot of folks watching the parade today have never seen a Nash before, but they stopped making them in the early 50s.
And I'm not familiar with this Ford.
That's a Ford Ranchero,
Oh,
which is
Ranchero,
a kind of
okay.
a combination.
And we're joined by Suffield in their beautiful town hall.
And we were so pleased to participate in their parade. Hi, Casey. Great to have you with us, but we participated in their 350th last week, and we're glad we congratulate them, and great showing from CRC. Thank you, folks. You've done so much for our lakes. And now we've got another gap in the parade here. So, again, there have been so many donors in so many different ways, and it's been, a challenge during the pandemic because our small businesses have hurt so much. But we had early on about 40 or 50 different, actually it was 50, different organizations, individuals, and so forth, sponsor street banners that we had up for a year.
Right.
Now
These
I'm
are
going to
the
break off. This is a
Witches.
Yes, the Westfield Witches.
The Westfield Witches.
And
Okay.
get a load of this beautifully restored vehicle.
It is
Hey,
beautiful.
Cindy.
And I like the dragon on the front. Is that Cindy Pendleton up there?
Yeah, that is Cindy.
So
The witch's hat can't hide her.
The voice behind the phone call, Cindy Pendleton.
And another beautifully restored antique truck with a
Is it an antique water pump maybe on the back?
an antique engine of some sort anyway, yep. And that's sponsored by the Hearth Store. It is the Hearth Store,
on
one of our
College
great
Highway.
family businesses. And coming up, what a innovative float from the Lions Club, a John Deere tractor with the float, the lion in the bucket loader,
So
and
this
a
is
passenger.
driven by Paul Connolly, and we were talking about how
Hey, Paul.
you can donate your eyeglasses for the Lions Club. You can drop them off right in a container at the town transfer station, and also they collect cans to provide scholarships to students.
Now, I'm told that these antique cars going in front of us that look like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, they were a ride at Riverside Park back in the day.
Wow.
A lot of us rode on them as kids, kind of like the antique car ride at Disney, but those have been rescued and restored. Beautiful Farmall A. So now we're starting our tractor and farm parade.
Which
and we're
Southwick has such a rich history in farming.
Beautiful float coming up here with a Farmall H.
And we have a birthday cake, our 250th birthday cake, with lots of presents.
And you are going to, everybody who's watching is in for a treat with all these tractors and antique vehicles, and then farm animals at the very end.
I'm looking forward
there is
to
a good
that.
reason for the farm animals at the end, but we won't get into that here.
Okay.
A Farmall M, beautifully restored, a tractor from probably the 1940s, maybe early 50s.
And this little girl sitting in this car probably wins the prize of the cutest of the parade.
Absolutely, she'd win that prize hands down. Another Farmall M in great running order.
Now I know this face, but I can't put the name to the
I
face on
can't
this
either.
yellow.
We can't remember them all, can we?
I can never.
I'd say that's probably a 30s or 40s vintage tractor, but I'm not positive. And another John Deere tractor.
And we're being followed by a big tractor, and it looks like it's the Southwick Farms.
One of the great working farms in town. I believe they're in their 4th generation.
And I believe
now.
they own the property with the best sledding hill in Southwick.
They're very good about that. And just a great family, a great history. Their grandpa was a school bus driver. I had him for a number of years. Back in the day, most of the dairy farmers drove school buses twice a day.
It's great to see so many young kids. And here are some farm animals. Are these the farm animals you were talking about?
Somebody's showboating out
there. I see cows and chickens and pigs. They're having a blast. That looks like so much fun.
Sponsored by American National Farm Family, one of the great insurance choices here in town. A very modern Massey Ferguson tractor with a plow behind it, a 6-bottom plow But the great thing about Solex is it's a working farm. They no longer have dairy cows, but they grow some great pasture-raised beef, produce hay, and keep that land so naturally beautiful up there, and allow folks to sled the hill in the wintertime. And we got another tractor coming up, a lot more tractors coming up, I think. But and we got pumpkins.
Yes, and I told my kids, I'm sending out the family chat since all of my kids are around tomorrow morning, that we will be visiting one of the local farms to pick some pumpkins.
So many great choices.
There is, and it's hard to get 3 teenagers together at the same time, so that is my one fall tradition that
make sure you get some great photos.
Great photos, yep, and great pumpkins.
Another Massey Ferguson bucket loader, working piece of machinery. And now some old Fords, the We call them Ford 8Ns. That was the model number, with a Massey Ferguson as well.
It's a good thing you're here.
I do tractors.
Well, I could sing that song. I think, the one I think
Green
your
Acres?
tractor's sexy.
Hey, Liz.
This is a beautiful, beautiful Bel Air. I have to say, this may be one of my favorite cars.
And she's got her baby and husband with her. Nice family event. And now we got some riding horses, I believe.
Beautiful horses.
From Granby. And some service dogs coming with us.
This is followed by the Granby Horse Council. Yes, those are some beautiful horses. And not to be missed, but the beautiful little girl in the tractor, in her little radio flyer.
Best seat in the parade, isn't it?
Best seat in the parade, but she's looking like she's getting a little tired out there. And here are some beautiful horses from
Granby Horse Council. And they've been a great participant in our farm parades over the years. Beautiful looking animals and riders. They got their horses all dressed up in their Sunday finest for this event.
They're beautiful.
And a AT rescue vehicle. And our South Fire Department ambulance. They do double duty on these things. They participate in the parade, but they are obviously ready to peel off at any time if they need to.
Absolutely. Let's see if we recognize the school bus driver. It looks like a Westfield public school bus. It's great to have them all out here, and what a great experience.
No, we appreciate our neighbors coming out to help us celebrate. We would do the same for them.
Well, I'm so fortunate that you asked me, and what I'm most fortunate about is getting to know you and all the people I've met, coming out and volunteering and being part of the community. I thought when I lived in Southwick, I knew so many people, and the people I've met in the past year and a half have doubled, and it's been great to learn so much and learn so much about the history of Southwick.
Well, I think that's one of the great benefits of all of this as we do wind down with the celebration tonight. But the opportunity to tell the stories and to kind of open up the book on Southwick history.
So give us a quick rundown of what's going to be going on at Wally Park. So if
Okay.
anyone's out there at home listening,
Thank you.
They'll know to come out to Wally Park, because I don't see many clouds in the sky. It looks like it's
It's a
beautiful.
pretty afternoon, isn't it?
Beautiful. So we have some bands, we have food trucks.
We have 3 bands starting the first at 3. The Bad News Jazz and Blues Orchestra that plays jazz and vintage swing music, and I think a little bit of rock, but mostly in the jazz and swing genre. They come from Holyoke and Northampton, and they're sponsored by the Southwick Cultural Council. And then they'll be followed by Southwick's own Mac and Vinny Band. And a lot of folks are familiar with them. They're primarily...
And I think there's going to be some helicopters flying in.
Well, that's what we are expecting. 2 helicopters to drop in, one at 3:30, one at 4:30. A Lifestar helicopter, and then a state police helicopter. They will fly into the Wick, and folks can watch them land. And then my understanding is once they've landed, the kiddos can go down and look at it. No rides. If you were angling for a ride.
No, but I think it's definitely interesting to see how those helicopters are set up like mobile units, that they can pretty much sustain life on those helicopters. So I definitely think especially if any kids are interested in going into the medical field, it's definitely worth going down and taking a look at them. Also, there's vintage baseball.
There's the Westfield Wheelmen are going to be playing a pickup team from Southwick. We got lots of great raffle prizes. So anybody who's listening, as soon as you get there, sign up for the raffle because we really got some great gift bags and gift baskets.
That's always gets me there. I always like to win a prize.
Okay, there's prizes available, Celeste, and some food trucks. Free kiddie rides.
Free kiddie rides.
Giant
the
slide.
food truck's great, especially for us moms that
Yeah.
don't want to cook.
Yeah. So no need to cook today. And then capped off by fireworks. And I am assured by our what do you call them? Pyrotechnician, I believe, is the proper name. But that this is going to be the biggest display that ever was put off in the town of Southwick. So
right.
I don't know who keeps track of that, but that's what he tells
We'll
me. So it's going to
definitely
be a great
look forward
show.
to that. So it's definitely worth coming out for a couple hours, even if you come out and you're not sure if you're going to stay. I'm sure those raffle prizes and the helicopters will definitely keep you entertained, and just to hear the music, it's just such a great way to be involved
and visit with friends and neighbors.
You're gonna
see
Absolutely.
somebody there that you know.
Absolutely, or meet new people, which is
meet
which
some new
is
folks.
always a great.
So yes, and that will cap off our Southwick 250th anniversary. About 11 and a half months later than we'd planned, Celeste, but
It's okay. It went off. The parade went off beautifully. So moving forward, we are going to have to start recruiting for the 300th parade.
Absolutely. Well,
we may not be here for that, but
I won't.
Maybe 275.
I won't pick on her publicly, but we had one of our great contributing volunteers who's. I'm guessing she's in her mid to late 30s, and every once in a while I would tease her and I would say, Chelsea, are you taking are you paying attention, taking good track? Because you're going to be in charge of the 275. And she said, oh no, not me. I said,
no, let her.
No.
You call her and tell her I'll be helping her because I plan
Okay,
to make it to the 275. I don't think 300, but 275.
Well, I'm planning on being there, but I'd like to be sitting in a nice lawn chair out in front of the Congregational Church.
Well, your lawn chair goes perfect on the stage, and we definitely will need you to remind us of all this rich history.
I hope I'm still talking pretty well by then. So we'll see
You
about that.
Because you're active, and I think when you're active, you're.
Well, that's they
healthy.
say you need a goal. So my goal is to be around for the 275th.
Sounds
so
great.
Let me see. Let's do the math on that. So that's 45. So I would be. Without divulging my age, I would be 94. So
I'll be
in this day and
I'll be about 76.
Yeah, so
76, almost 7. No, I will be 75 because if we celebrate it at the actual 275, I will be 75. So
it is a wrap. So we're done.
we're good. So thank you so much.